Hello, welcome to Uptakes Upstream Media PH's very own web show where we talk about ideas, concepts, and news in and around live streaming. Tambay muna tayo dito. Please do say hello if you are in the comments or if you are hanging around. 7 people, yes, thank you so much. Siguro isa dyan yung pang-testing ko, tapos yung isa yung nagmo-monitor lang for this. Please let me know if there's audio, if there's music, or if hindi nyo kami nakikita, but I'm pretty confident nakikita nyo naman ako so far. There's a 15 to 20 second delay in the stream, but definitely we'll get to your questions and comments if you have any. So, check natin yung live stream kung gumagana siya. There we go. Si Sir Dan or exclamation point notify. Thank you for for reminding allowing yourself to be reminded if we do go live in the next uptakes. Okay. Check lang tayo. Wait lang. It's again, I always say this every show, it's difficult to direct your own show and also be in it at the same time. Sorry for the delay. I am going to be very honest. I'm the technical director, but definitely I ran into trouble earlier as well with this show. Kaya medyo na-delay tayo ng konti. Please don't forget to share and like if you are around, if you do like the content that we are putting out. Yes, practice to be a YouTuber. We are live on Facebook and YouTube as well. So, there we go. Thank you. Okay, yan. May feedback na tayo. So, rewind lang ng konti. Again, welcome to Uptakes Upstream Media's very own web show where we talk about ideas, concepts, and news in and around live streaming. My name is Glenn Lopez. Labas natin yung lower third. And I'm the technical director of Upstream Media PH, and I'm your host for this web show. Happy weekend to everyone. It's another Sunday. It's a gloomy Sunday afternoon, I'd like to believe. Let us know how the weather in your place or where you are. But hopefully it doesn't dampen our spirits in entering another work week. Originally work week yung nakalagay sa script ko, but in another week, in another exciting week of our lives in community quarantine. Okay, in today's show, we are going to talk about a very special day in the life of couples and how celebrations have changed. More importantly, how the role of video or moving images play a significant part in this important event. And I won't be talking about it solo because I'm not going to get married anytime soon during this quarantine season, or because I'm not married yet. But definitely I've invited special guests to simply explore some ideas and also talk about how the industry has changed so far. And I was consulting her earlier on how to introduce our guest. We have, during this afternoon, Miss Niq Ablao, ang maganda raw sa The Film Hat. So she's the one wearing the hat sa Film Hat, and let's all welcome her in the comments as I also bring her in the split screen. Hi Nick, how are you?
Hi, ang maganda sa Film Hat.
Yan
Hindi
ang
yung Film
balita
Hat. Yung logo na lang. Yung logo lang yung maganda.
Ayan.
Hello everyone. I'm Niq Ablao. Yun. As introduced by Glenn. Thank you Glenn for having me here, for inviting me here.
Ayan.
Hello.
It's also the first time na usually kasi on the side, I'm the one just operating the streams for other people. And because I'm trying to run this also. This web show also. Iba pa nga yung experience na ikaw na rin yung nag-host. So,
Multitasking.
totoo yan.
Sobrang,
No? Lalo na yung mga gamer
sobrang
streams, di ba?
nakakakaba. Totoo!
Yan yung
Guys.
bibisitahin yan. Bibisitahin. Dapat pala yun yung nilagay ko na na label dun sa baba. So anyway, welcome Nick. Thank you for joining us this afternoon. Kamusta? Kamusta yung I guess community quarantine life? And I think you're around the Muntinlupa area, no? Almost
Yes,
bordering
yes.
the south and the SLEX, and balita ko nga maraming traffic dyan every time na magpapalit yung community quarantine status dito. Kamusta? Kamusta?
Oo. Ngayon, sobrang higpit nila. Like, well, nakalabas pa kami last weekday, ang Friday yata. Pero starting yesterday, wala na talaga makalabas without a travel pass. So, wala na from MCX papunta sa labas ng SLEX. Pag wala kang travel pass, U-turn ka sa Sunrise. Tapos meron na naman sa'yong doon. Sisita. Bakit wala kang travel pass? Kahit pa uwi ka na.
Talaga? Talagang
Oo.
chine-check nila yon.
Oo, yes. So, ayun. So, sa lahat ng mga um, co-suppliers natin, sa mga clients, guys, secure kayo ng travel pass if dadaan kayo from Manila to Batangas or anywhere outside Manila.
Meron na bang
So,
Tagaytay
yun, medyo
wedding?
hassle siya. Yeah, meron yan. Sigurado hingin kayo ng travel pass.
Okay. Sige.
Yes.
What have you been up to this past few weeks, months? And I'm sure you're gonna tell us about that other not
the
wedding
other
supplier
side.
life.
The outside, life.
Mm-mm.
Well, this past few days, weeks, months, one of the things na ginagawa namin na wedding related is yung nag-aayos kami ng backlogs. Yung mga backlogs namin from our previous weddings. So, another one is, since medyo kakonti yung shoot natin ngayon, nag-iisip kami ng parang ways how to engage the couple and their guests for halimbawa pag sa weddings na brought by parang ang hirap kasi ngayon, ang daming nagbago, sobrang daming nagbago ngayon. Super.
Definitely
Medyo
dadaanan
yung iba
natin yan
sobrang
mamaya.
waiting talaga. Oo. Ayun, and yung other side, and nagsi-stream kami, actually si Glenn. Si Glenn din. Streaming tayo ng game streaming. Yun na yung uso ngayon, mga friends and families.
Correct.
Yan.
And we do game streaming primarily because we're trying to cope as well. Way of coping natin yan.
Totoo yan.
So follow Nuna Media at Nuna Media sa Facebook Gaming, no. Ako
Sa mga
hindi ko pa
90s
nala-launch
kids
yan.
natin.
Correct. Ragnarok yung nira-run niya ngayon.
Yes.
From your experience and observation so far, how has weddings changed during this quarantine season?
Well, super a lot. As in, dramatically a lot. But, from the number of weddings to the number of guests in a wedding, yung parang extra precautions, yung safety natin, duration ng shoot, tsaka yung number of members, pati yung workflow namin, sobrang nag-iba siya from our previews. Siguro, sa ngayon talagang pinupush namin na masanay talaga kasi we think na it will take along pa. Parang sobrang matagal pa before we go to the pre-normal stage. Ito na talaga yung normal natin.
So, yun nga, parang ang daming nagbago for you. Siguro, simulan natin dito. This episode naman is really a conversation. More like exploring what are the changes that have been applied during this new normal. Siguro sa decision-making ng couple for the wedding, we were discussing, we were practicing our discussion yesterday.
Oo.
Parang, ano yung priority ngayon ng mga couples?
Well, based dun sa mga parang sa mga couples namin ngayon. So, number one priority ng most couples namin is to postpone. So, isa yan talaga sa nagbago ngayon, ngayong year na to. Yung mga weddings ngayon is sobrang medyo nangonti na tayo. Lumipat sa 2021. So, pero meron namang iba na from halimbawa October yung wedding nila, they opted to move ng August. Kasi parang iniisip nila, ganun din naman in the long run, parang hanggang October ganito. Why not push the civil wedding and just to make it official?
So merong mga una, kasi yung initial reaction nila was to move because of the quarantine situation. Ginawa nila, inurong nila to 2021. And then, unti-unting umaatras. Kapag medyo bakante na, push natin to, di ba? Parang, and yan yung nagiging, consider. Now, in terms of course, may mga packages din na, mamaya na yun. In terms of safety, because, again, we are in a situation ng quarantine, how do you address this when you shoot weddings specifically? Kasi pag corporate, automatic may rapid testing, depende sa production, di ba? For safety naman, like, what are the safety precautions that you actually look out for?
For the safety precautions, for the team, as much as possible, before the shoot, we stay at home, parang 7 to 14 days before before the shoot. And then, kasi sa amin, sa weddings, hindi ganun pinapagawa yung rapid test. Unless si couple talaga nag advise na kailangan niyo ng rapid test before Yun nga lang, like we discussed last night, yung rapid test medyo ngayon hindi siya ganun ka. Hindi ganun ka, kumbaga effective yung result para masabi mong positive ka or negative ka. So, one of the safety precautions na lang namin is, syempre, yung protective equipments namin, face shield and mask.
Automatic
hindi
na yun.
Hindi kami nag-PPEs. As much as possible, if hindi rin in-advise ni couple or ni coordinator na mag-PPE, hindi kami nag-PPEs. So, kasi one of the reasons kasi, kung for us kasi if exposed ka na and all, tapos sa we are not against PPEs like what we have discussed with Glenn. Pero more like siguro mag-iingat kami in terms of the distancing na lang and the face shield and the face mask. And all. Kasi ang hirap din mag-shoot, lalo na yung mga prior weddings kasi namin, mga Batangas or yung mga maiinit na lugar. So, aside from mainit na minsan umuulan, so yung singaw niya medyo uncomfy, hindi kami masyadong maka-focus sa pag-shoot. Siguro, medyo sa amin yun. Gusto namin, pag mag-shoot kami, comfy, kumbaga.
Correct.
Para hindi ganun ka frustrating makuha yung isang shot na to. Although, kaya naman, yun nga lang, siguro sa amin, for us, paano ba natin sasabihin? Parang, ayaw naming maging isa sa mga limitation yung nafe-feel na during nag-shoot siguro, yung parang gano'n, oo. Ayun. And then siguro, before and after ng shoot, lagi kaming linis and all ng mga equipments. Para and then, ayun. So, the social distancing,
Automatic
super
na yun.
basic na yun, automatic na yun.
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay.
Medyo
Ano?
frustrating talaga. Ang daming, kumbaga, um, hindi ka basta-basta makakapag-shoot
Mm,
unless, ay, clear tong part na to, wala masyadong tao, sila lang dalawa.
correct.
Ayun.
Sabagay. Parang yung napag-usapan nga natin kahapon, hindi ka pwede basta-basta sumugod eh. Tapos,
Totoo.
magre-record ka ng moment. Ayan, sige. Bago ako pumunta dun sa next part natin, mag-hi lang ako. Hi, Leandro. Anong pag-ibig ang tinutukoy mo dito? Period. Marami kaming inside jokes nito eh. Pero yan. Dahil dun sa
Oo.
third Thursdays. Sa Leandro and My podcast every Wednesday, 8 p.m. Nag-plug bigla.
Ah,
Ayan, a
oo.
spoken word podcast. Ted Claudio, hi, good afternoon. Watching from Quezon City. Thank you so much for joining. And si Sir Jiggy Alejandrino. Uy, si
Si
Nick.
Jiggy!
Mm-mm.
Ano ko siya, schoolmate sa film
Schoolmate.
school
Oh,
before.
marunong pala
Ahead ako
mag-film
sa
si
kanya ng
Jiggy.
isang batch.
Ah,
And ano na siya ngayon, director, music video
Jiggy?
director.
Jiggy
Magkakalala ba kayo?
Joke, Jiggy
Ay, hindi! Sorry,
Alejandrino.
sorry! Ibang Jiggy pala yun, sorry.
Jiggy
Yung
Alejandrino.
super galing nating photographer.
Kala ko
Nakasama namin siya
nagpo-photo.
once. Oo, naging music video director pala. No.
Correct.
Hi, Sir
Ayan.
Jiggy!
Ayan, si Joma Tolentino Mariana. Hello, Ninang Idol Nick daw. And then
Hi,
si
Java! Hi, Nini! Hello.
Portia Creyos Erwin. Magandang hapon. Hi, Ma'am Nick. Ayan.
Hello.
Sige, thank you for
Ano
joining.
siya, groom namin. Next year.
Nice. Ayan, looking
Hello,
forward.
hello.
Thank you for dropping by. So, yun nga,
Yes,
going back.
thank you.
So, for safety primarily, of course, from our end, the suppliers, automatic na yung face shield. Face mask. Ako, automatic face mask. Ako, dual layer. Mayroong cloth mask
Yes.
and then mayroong surgical mask. And then, since nakasalamin naman ako, I guess it's an extra layer pa rin. Pero kung kailangan, magpe-face shield. Pero namimili pa kasi ako ng magandang design. Kasi dahil nga nakasalamin ako, ang hirap makita beyond dun sa face shield mismo.
Lalo pa kapag hinihingal ka.
Tapos aircon pa yung venue,
Magsushoot
problematic
ka, no?
pa.
Medyo problematic. Oo. Isang problem din namin na encounter yung, kasi di ba madalas tayong nasa bahay.
Mm.
Tapos lalabas ka magsushoot. Hindi ka sanay nang may mask. Hindi ka rin sanay nang gumagalaw. So, pag mag-start ka na mag-shoot, hingal na hingal ka.
So, kung meron tayong friends dyan na nasa fitness industry, baka gusto nyo po magpa-webinar sa mga wedding suppliers na hindi
Yes.
nakakapag-exercise the past couple of months.
Totoo, kailangan natin yan.
And then, speaking of, dahil hinihingal ka, it also speaks of the team composition. 'Di ba? Nagbago rin yung workflow natin and kung sino lang yung kasama dun sa weddings mismo. Ano na
Yes.
ngayon yung arrangement specifically for Film Hat? How many are you when you shoot an intimate wedding? And then also, paano na yung workflow nyo? Do you still show an SDE at the end of the day or something? Ganyan.
Sa Film Hat, ngayon hindi na kami nag-offer ng same day edits. Or unless gusto ni client. Pero si couples kasi, they are always looking for a more intimate based package. So, ang ino-offer namin is yung next day edit. In terms of the workflow, yung kung sino na yung magsushoot. Kasi from 8 members,
Parang K-pop
ngayon
group.
down to
8 people.
K-pop group. Mas marami pa sa mga basketball players na isang team. Bumaba kami ng 2. Pag intimate wedding package, 2 na 'yon. So sa 8 kasi before, 4 din yung may camera. Tapos 2 assist, isang driver and isang editor. So nawala si assists, nawala rin si driver kasi yung 2 na 'yon. Pareho na nagsushoot. So, isa ako sa nagsushoot noon before pre-coronavirus era. Nag-edit lang ako. So, ngayon, medyo nag-edit ako before. Kukuha lang ako ng camera kapag preps. While ngayon, from preps to ceremony to reception, yan, kasama ako. Para at least, monitor ko rin kung ano yung pwedeng i-shoot on the day. Tapos i-edit ko siya the next day.
Back to basics,
Yan.
kumbaga. I
Back
think
to
most of
basics,
our
oo.
wedding suppliers has posted this idea. Back to basics, kung dati na-upgrade na tayo from, hindi na ako mag-shoot kasi may mas magaling na mag-shoot sa akin, just edit later.
Oo.
Ngayon, ako naman baliktad, nasanay ako sa, like for example, this one, if I switch my camera here, this is essentially a one-man show. Sorry, Nick, hindi mo siya nakikita. Ayan, one-man show, dito lahat. Medyo blurred siya kasi baka kung ano yung mangyari. But check mo na lang mamaya. And then, most of the live streams naman that we produce, parang, yan, shoutout tayo kay Kim, kay Eliza Guerra for coordinating our stuff. Pero kaya siya patakboyin ng isang tao. At least on my end, at least how I defined or designed my workflow. So yan, nabanggit mo nga 2 people. So ibig sabihin sa preps, syempre maghiwalay yung dalawang shooter. And then isang camera. And then pagdating sa ceremony, dalawang shooter pa rin. From my experience, sorry, go ahead.
Oo, sorry. Yung sa pagdating sa ceremony, medyo, ano rin kami, there's this one wedding we had. Isa lang yung pwedeng pumasok sa venue. So, sobrang, isa rin yung venue limitation. Kumbaga, yung number of people inside the venue, challenging din. Kasi isa lang. It's either the photo or the video. Meron kaming experience na ganun. Church siya. Isa lang yung pwedeng. So, kami, sa video, okay lang kami na parang mag-set up ng halimbawa, one camera in the middle or sa unahan, ganyan. Kasi yung photo, mahirap eh. So, sila madalas yung pumapasok sa loob ng church. Then kami, yun nga lang, ang challenge is, halimbawa, nakaupo si couple, tapos pang nakaupo yung framing namin, pag tumayo sila, edi putol
na yung ulo.
So, as much as possible, lagi kami naka-wide. Medyo challenging din yung part na yun. So, ayun. Sorry.
So, mag-shoot na tayo ng 4K para pwede tayo
yun. We tried 4K during the ceremony and ligwak kami sa hindi naman ligwak. Pero kinain talaga yung namin. Kasi 3 cameras yung sinetap namin sa loob. Hindi kami pwede magstay ng matagal sa loob nung area. So, sige, 4K natin. Okay na, i-wide natin para at least meron tayong
crop. Ganyan.
Yun nga lang. Oo. Siguro, feeling ko, expect na natin na yung mga hard drives natin is pangmalakihan na.
And of course,
file size. Kung gusto natin parang weddings na kaya abot natin lahat.
Correct. So, with that idea as well, no, of course, you're just talking about your own workflow. We're talking about your workflow sa Film Hat. But more importantly, from one videographer or one supplier to another, magkakaiba kasi yung workflow. So, at least for our couples, for our dear couples that we will help you out, or at least we'll do our part by checking the rules also with the churches where you will hold your ceremonies. Kasi of course it varies from one place to another. Baka mamaya yung church na isa ay maliit lang, and then yung circulation konti lang, 'di ba? Air circulation, pero may mga churches na maluwag, and some not necessarily have more people in the team, but more like we have to see if magfi-fit din yung workflow namin based on what the rules of the church are. Let's see. Meron tayong question here from Bob Barroso. During ceremony, did you have an issue coming up to the altar?
Yes, definitely. Hindi lang sa altar, kahit halimbawa sa civil wedding, 'di ba? Sa mayor's office yan usually. Bawal kami pumunta dun sa harap talaga, as in
yung facing the couple.
May mga nakaabang. Facing the couple, yung malapit sa officiant or sa celebrant. Challenging yan kasi usually, 'di ba, pag mag-vows tayo, kailangan nandito tayo sa harap. So, adjust na lang lagi.
Correct.
we need to make a lot of adjustments ngayon. So, pero I think makaka-adjust naman tayo easily. Tayo mga videographers, mga Filipino videographers, sobrang bilis mag-adjust ng mga yan.
Definitely. Yun nga lang, kailangan may aray ng konti kasi syempre yung adjustment natin, may investment na kalakip. I mean, we can't take away that fact that when we invest in something, ito naman, justify na naman ako ng gastos. When we invest in something, it makes our life easier or it's the right tool for the job. Parang ganun.
Yes.
Sige, breather lang tayo ng konti. Hi, Mike Cantillano, the other part of Leandro and Mai. Una sa lahat, ang ganda ng Uptake app na ito. Kasi parehong malinaw ang camera and audio nyo. Ang refreshing ng setup.
Cha-ching!
Ano lang po, ito yung mga natutulog naming camera dahil wala kaming, walang shoot masyado. So, ayan. Okay, so nanggagaling itong question na yun or yung idea na yun, workflow, tsaka yung setup, tsaka yung team composition, nanggagaling kasi yan sa idea na now, it's a challenge for you to put together a team that will shoot a wedding that's intimate tapos maraming rules. Tapos biglang merong additional factor which is the main part of this live stream or this discussion is just yung mga couples or medyo uso ngayon yung live streaming, di ba?
Yes.
Sa mga nagpa-rebook sa inyo, ilan yung parang nag-explore or nagtanong na nung idea na to for film?
Actually, most of our couples na, lalo na yung ikakasal this year, they are all, hindi naman all, most of them are asking for live streaming services. Merong isa na hindi namin couple nag-ask ng live stream. Although, kasi feeling namin hindi equipped yung namin. So, we are really asking Glenn. So, si Glenn kasi yung ikaw yung may live streaming.
Tago na tayo dito. Joke.
Paging Glenn. Ayan. Ayan, most of them are looking for live streaming services kasi nga dahil yung guests nila nag-downsize na and all.
May guests
so,
pa ba
yung mga extended families. Yung usually mga maid of honor or
entourage.
may iba. Entourage.
Yung mga 10% nung entourage dapat nandun.
Oo, yung hindi kasama sa immediate family. Pero siguro kung may guest na yung mga napuntahan kasi namin or na-shoot namin na weddings kasi may reception pa rin sila pero super quick lang, super as in kakain lang. And all. And dun ang diretso ng mga guests. Kung meron man.
Kung meron.
Oo.
And these are very important guests na isasama nila.
Yes.
Diba?
Sobrang limited yung number ng guests.
Okay. So, parang, ito kasi, hindi ko natatanungin sa'yo, but I'll go straight to the point with this one. It's important for at least sila Niq and a couple of other wedding videographer friends and wedding friends in the industry, they're inquiring about live streaming. So, at least from our end, because we've been doing live streaming, nakapag-build na kami ng capabilities. It's just that hindi pa kami masyado nag-stream ng weddings. But it's the value, at least, what we want to really imagine. And I'm sure, ito yung mga objectives ng mga couples natin. Number one, gusto nilang madala yung guests nila, mapanood yung, ang tawag dito, mapanood yung mga, yung ceremony mismo. Mapanood yung ceremony mismo. And then number two, if it allows for it, makapag-interact sila dun sa guests. And I've seen a couple of examples ng iba-ibang couples, at least within friends or within the immediate circle, na gumagamit sila ng live streaming to bring people closer, 'di ba? To bring people closer doon sa wedding ceremony without necessarily leaving the houses, and also following safety and also tawag dito community quarantine guidelines and so on and so forth, no? So with that, for me, I'd like to introduce this idea of the objectives precede the technology to be used. And
Yes.
sa mga nagtatanong sa'yo, Nick, about live streaming, o parang kung meron kayo, parang ano yung usual na frequently asked questions nila? Like, go ahead.
Number one is yung, will there be someone to kumbaga direct the video with the guests? Yun. Isang halagang question nila yun. Kasi there are couples na nag-ask sila sa coordinators if kung pwede sila yung mag direct or mag-set up nung kahit nung
Yung camera.
laptop or
yung
camera, ganun. Pero iba kasi kapag alam mong may equipments, no? Para at least yung moments that day ma-feed natin sa guests na nasa Zoom effectively and surely na maayos and all. Isa pang question ng mga couples pagdating sa live streaming is kung ilang cameras yung gagamitin. So,
okay.
concern nila, makikita ba yung reactions nung mga guests or ng entourage namin? Meron bang nakatutok sa amin dun sa couple or meron bang dun sa syempre meron tayo laging sa speaker or sa officiant or sa celebrant. Ano pa ba yung usual na tanong ng ayun kung magkano
yung magkano
live streaming. Kasi wala silang idea talaga kasi 'di ba bago, sobrang bago.
Sige. So
ayun.
Yun yung question ni Sir Bob Barroso dito. How much cost do you add for live streaming and is it full on coverage? And of course, we have to understand first what's full coverage kasi hindi naman lahat may reception. Of course, yung core nun ay ceremony and of course, if safety permits or if safety allows for it, you can also shoot preparations but not necessarily live stream during the preparations kasi baka mamaya makita mo lang nagtatakbuhan yung mga tao, tataranta or 'di ba? Baka magkita pa yung bride tsaka yung groom dun sa magkaibang live stream. 'Di ba? Na-reveal. Pati yung way na magkikita sila na-reveal na pala, digital na rin siya, no? So, wait lang. Meron lang ako pa-aandering na video dito. Pero sa likod lang to. So thank you to the Spark series for ang tawag dito. We actually work with them for this particular wedding pero yung SDE sa kanila. So feel free to head also to the Spark series. There was an SDE there that integrated anong tawag dito, the reactions from a Zoom wedding or sorry, from a Zoom, not Zoom wedding, iba yung Zoom wedding, from a wedding that had a live stream as well. So ayun, nasa background siya but I'll let the audience visit the page for that one. Okay. Going forward, so, ayun nga, tinatanong nila kung ilan yung camera, tsaka saan magsi-stream, kung ilan man yung makikita. And siguro, to respond to that, ito yung mga ideas ko, no, Nick. So, number one, again, objectives precede technology to be used. So, ang pinakamadali, parate, for most of us, is actually put up a phone. Hopefully, hindi siya nakahawak dun sa phone niya tapos manginginig-nginig siya, di ba, throughout the wedding. Sana may tripod. And then, because Facebook is very easy to use, to go live, di ba, konting pindot lang. And usually, yung biggest problem dyan, pag nag-start yung live stream, nakatagilid eh. So, nakatagilid din yung ulo ng mga tao. So, it's something that you can, it's something that you have to look out for as well, no? Now, there's also the question na Facebook page ba? Facebook profile ba, Facebook group ba, Facebook group chat ba, diba? So there are certain considerations. At least I'd like to share that it's the easiest is of course a Facebook page, but of course nandun yung level of privacy, yung concern ng privacy. So personally, I would suggest to go for YouTube. And for YouTube kasi, number one, it's because of the quality. May 1080p doon na kahit matapos yung live stream, 1080p pa rin siya. Number two, ano tawag dito? Because you can have an unlisted video. So when you have an unlisted video, you can share that particular link to other couples or other, sorry, not other couples, to the guests that you want to invite to watch the live stream. Now, pwede rin naman mag-live stream through the YouTube app. But more importantly, you have to check if your account is already enabled for live streaming. So medyo tricky siya. But YouTube is actually more tailored fit for that sense. Okay. Ang tawag dito. And then, sige, tawid natin. And of course, itong ginagamit natin ngayon, hindi lang halata. I brought in Niq through Zoom because the Skype was acting up before this show. And i-relate ko na to dito. Si Paolo Chausas, thank you for dropping by. Nagkakaroon ba ng opportunity ang Zoom attendees makapag-participate or hindi na yon masyado ang priority? Similarly, nakikita ba ng bride and groom yung mga attendees? This is an interesting question because mag-rewind tayo ng konti. Zoom is actually the social media platform of the community quarantine. So parang, ano matawag dito? A week or two into the quarantine, naka-Zoom Pro account na ako. Kasi alam ko na ganun talaga yung mangyari. And I'm sure you have your share of, you have your own Zoom account as well, whether free or paid. Kasi ginagamit na rin natin siya. Now, should you stream over Zoom? Ikaw, thoughts mo, Niq? Ano advantage kapag nag-Zoom?
Well, hindi pa kasi rin ako nakapag try ng ibang platforms. Well, kasi siguro pinanganak ako na may Zoom tapos hanggang ngayon Zoom na rin. Parang gano'n. Doon ka na lumaki sa Zoom. Yun na yung parati mong nakikita.
Napaisip ako. Kala ko pinanganak ka na may Zoom na. So,
sorry, hindi.
Ang tagal na pala. Joke lang.
Matagal na pala siyang nandito sa mundo. No? Pero ever since kasi, naririnig ko na yung Zoom. So, yun na rin talaga din yung parang nasa isip ko na yun yung nakikita ko parang okay, ang daming
squares.
Squares, ang daming pictures or videos sa gumagana. Okay, Zoom, ito na yung gagamitin natin for meetings and all. May isa pala, sorry, Google Hangouts.
Google Hangout, yes.
Yeah.
Basta kung may S yun or wala, okay lang.
Kasi balik na rin din sa Zoom. Kasi, wala lang. Well, Zoom is the kumbaga, Facebook of Facebook social media, parang gano'n. Siya yung, para sa atin is the pinakasikat na platform for meetings. I'm not sure though, pero, siguro, pag nagtatanong ako sa mga friends ko or sa mga kasama ko sa work ko, ano gamit yung for meetings and all. Zoom. Let's go Zoom.
Totoo yan. Mathematic na yun. And ako rin, fallback ko kanina Zoom. I had to put up another computer Skype. Just because. Okay yung Skype eh. I've been preaching about it but for some strange reason, it didn't work today. Okay, may shoutout ka dito. That's my Beshi Besh. Eileen Areta Tolentino.
Hi to Besh, Eileen. Eileen Areta.
Ayan.
Sobrang yan, supportive kahit sa games.
Naku,
siguro kung may stars tayo na sending ngayon, meron din yan.
Ayan lang. Send mo na lang dun sa Nuna Media kapag nag-live ulit si Niq. So, yeah. So, yun. The ideas about Zoom, actually, wait lang. Niq, hold ka lang dyan. Papakita ko sa background ko yun.
Yes. Go lang.
Ayan. Ay, shucks. Ayan. Merong thumbnail kasi dito. Sana napapakita ko sa... Ay, nakikita mo naman, di ba? So, merong thumbnail dyan sa video na yan. That's actually a Zoom meeting. So, yes, we did use Zoom for this particular wedding because we're still trying to play around with the idea of which one should you use. Now, ako, ang strong suggestion ko, use Zoom if you want to record reactions or if you want to bring in people. But because I'm also a live stream producer, I would go for quality. Parang mas gusto ko makita nyo fully yun nangyayari. And given the workflow kanina, mag-geek out lang ako ng konti. Zoom, actually, you can bring in, that's why I can bring in several cameras here. because there's a video switcher. And this is actually running to a Zoom account right now. So, you can imagine for a wedding, pwede ka rin mag-multi-camera setup.
Yes.
And it's something that we want to provide because we want to provide additional angles, 'di ba? So that mas dynamic yung live stream, unlike a phone na nakatayo. I mean, we're not dissing it, but it's a way to go about it. Na you can start with a tripod, clamp a phone there, and then tutok dun sa ceremony. The objective is still there to bring the wedding ceremony or wedding celebration online and celebrate
Next to you.
with
Yes,
other
oo.
people, 'di ba? Yun pa rin naman yun. But as much as possible, again, this other point that I wrote down, preserve this experience of being there with the couple. So yes, on our end, we run multiple cameras. So kunwari, sila Niq, meron na silang dalawa. Tapos mag-work kami together. Ako, magdadagdag akong dalawa. Number 1, for additional angles. But number 2, for safety as well. So that, sila Niq, for Film Hut and for other wedding videography suppliers there, you can continue shooting the way you want to shoot the wedding and preserve your style. And on our end, we can just focus on what is going to go out dun sa live stream mismo. And again, that's preserving the experience of being there with the couple. Sige.
Up
There's
close pa.
Totoo yan,
Parang,
totoo yan. So, if you
oo.
actually visit this, wait lang. Buksan ulit natin tong part na to. There's a thumbnail on the upper left-hand side that dun nanonood yung mga tao ng live stream. So, I opted not to spotlight, if you know your Zoom, if you're a Zoom master at this point, I opted not to spotlight my screen so that I can record everyone else's reactions. And ang cute kasi parang nakabisi yung mga tao, number 1. Nung malapit na nung malapit na mag-kiss yung couple namin for that day, makikita mo nagpa-brighten up yung mga faces ng mga tao, ang saya-saya nila. And then nung church nga, nakakatawa din kasi the couple, the guests on the Zoom meeting, kulang pa ng Zoom etiquette eh. So, nag-uusap sila. Oy, off niyo yung audio nyo para marinig
mute,
natin yung ceremony, yung pare. Kasi syempre may sarili rin akong audio during that time. And yung pala hindi natin napag-usapan, Niq. When you have your audio, you run, at least for the suppliers, you will still run your own audio independent of ours. Para pag nagpatay kayo ng camera, meron pa rin kami audio. Alam mo yun?
Oo. Okay.
Para safe
Pero,
siya.
if ever, how are you going to clip an audio to our cameras? Or kasi usually sa cameras namin, may mga nakakabit na lapel.
Correct.
So,
kaya hindi kami kukuha ng audio sa inyo. Yung transmitter
dun sa
lang.
mismong
So, in the same
okay.
way that you run your transmitters, yung audio transmitter nyo, actually, meron din ako sarili na wireless. Kasi meron din naman akong camera na pwedeng pagkunan ng audio. So, yun yung, yun yung response ko for...
oo.
Go ahead, sorry.
Super advantage yan kasi just in case na may mangyari sa mga audios natin sa cameras and all, kung wag naman sana, at least may backup from your end, no?
Totoo din yan. So, kumbaga...
iba talaga pag meron.
Redundancy, safety na rin, but also,
Yes,
I at the most talaga, nagkabit lang ako ng camera, ng wireless transmitter dun sa cameras nyo. Yun na yung compromise. But if, let's say, if there are partner videographers na medyo maingat sila sa gamit nila or walang mapagkakabitan, then we'll find another way to make sure that we still bring the ceremony to you. Now, may question dito si Ted. Ted Claudio, again, thank you for hanging out with us. Question, how do you address the reliability of the internet? Do you provide the internet or the couple provides it? If you provide it, any redundancy? And I'll answer it this way. Let's keep the question on screen. Nawala, nagtago siya. Ayan, keep the question on screen. So, in terms of internet, of course, number 1, we bring our own. Syempre, you don't want to borrow. You don't want to borrow the hotspot or the personal hotspot of the phones of clients. So, we bring our own. We bring several SIM cards. Yun na yung redundancy at this point. Truth be told, we use consumer internet. to keep costs at a manageable level, but we can go with redundancies at a certain point. Now, we don't have yet internet redundancy, and I think na-share to natin, napag-usapan natin to kagabi, Nick, na hindi lang yung internet redundancy but also a backup recording of whatever we record for that day. So, the most important thing part for us is that we capture, at least on our end, is that we capture the entire ceremony and or reception so that we can play it back later on. Syempre, yung
With the
priority.
guests. Ay, sorry.
Correct, tama
Oo,
yan, tama yan.
tama.
Now, in addition to that, Ted, when we don't have internet, and this will be part, for safety na rin of everyone, this will be part of our agreements, we can hold a watch party for all the guests, and we also have the clients there. Of course, depende naman if...
After, no?
After the event. So, it depends on... pwede mo na rin i-play yung next day edit mo doon, Nick, di ba? Naka-party, watching party na sila eh. So, it's something that we can explore with for our couples and for the people who will be working with us. Okay.
Kasi 'di ba, there are certain areas outside Manila na talagang kahit Globe or Smart or any service providers, talagang wala kang masasagap na internet eh. So,
challenge talaga eh. No?
challenge talaga eh. Oo.
So, ayan, si Dan or Rozco. When it comes to live streaming, do you have alternative options aside from using local internet service providers? Especially that internet is not always either. Yan nga yung question. Either available or reliable. Dan, yun nga. Part of our service is also having this entire setup or entire ceremony recorded so that we can play it back. So, later. Para may watch party na lang. Again, ang tawag dito, preserve, what was the idea kanina? Objectives precede technology to be used. So, if you don't have internet on the day, I guess the next important thing is to actually enjoy it with people that you love and you care for. Diba? So, when you're able to have a watch party, then at least may feeling pa rin na, ito yung nangyari during this minute. It wasn't live, but we're still able to bring them the entire experience of the wedding. Jam Ramos, that's a nice sample. Hopefully you can tell us what you're referring to with this one. And then, ayan. Nasagot ko na pala to. Ted, thank you for asking this. Does the live stream utilize the cameras of the video supplier in addition to the live streamer's camera? The way that we do things and we invite our partner videographers is that we work with them rather than add to the number of people that is there. Now, there are wedding suppliers, di ba, Nick? Meron tayong mga friends in the industry na nag-add na talaga sila ng capability within the team. But if it's a concern for the supplier, then we can actually help out each other rather than build the capability inside the company. And I know it's a difficult thing to do because of this pandemic. We can help each other out so that we can bring the best experience to our couples. And hopefully, this gives us, this gives our couples and our friends in the industry na it's still possible. We don't have to really invest for equipment. Although, favorite kasi natin yan. Di ba? Yung meron tayong bagong laruan. Di ba?
Salamat!
Salamat. This particular insert, ang tawag dito, insert your favorite online shopping platform here.
Yes. Salamat. Toot!
Sige. If you have questions, please do ask them in the comments below. Ayan, sige. Balikan natin si Jam. Sample output, Glenn and Nick, taken during this pandemic. Link will do too. My question is, how do you price this new normal type of wedding coverage? And I assume it's not the same as the rates for suppliers prior to the pandemic. Okay. And then related to that, collaboration brings the costs down as well and addresses the limitations ng rules ng quarantine. Tama naman. Agree naman dun, Ted. Sige, go back to Jam. Pricing for this new normal, of course, excuse me. I think Nick has a couple of packages intimate for intimate weddings. No, I think you can send her page message. Tama ba no sa
Yes,
Facebook.
yes. Or
So look
email or on Facebook.
the film. Look for the film
Yeah.
hat, and
Mm-hmm.
also on our end, usually this ranges around. Is it good to actually say a price? But it aligns well with quarantine budgets at this point. Of
Mm-hmm.
course, although on a more anong tawag dito? On a more service note, we do understand this is a premium service. So it is aligned with quarantine budgets, but we don't want to we want people to understand that this is not necessarily another videographer coming in and setting up a camera, but rather we're
Mm-hmm.
producing a show for our clients that kunwari live stream. Before this merong shot na may wide shot, merong animated logo. These are things that we would include in our service as well. Ayan, para show pa rin siya, 'di ba? And actually ito yung mga kanari, si Jonathan Garcia, meron siyang waving hand emoji. Um, yan, merong ay, correct. Hindi ko alam kung balik-balik siya. And for me, if we are streaming to YouTube, we are actually doing this. We're bringing up comments. We're going to bring up comments from our guests as well para pwedeng basahin, 'di ba? At a later
Mm-hmm.
time. So, again, preserving the experience of being there with the couple even if hindi pa maka-respond yung couple kagad. So,
Mm-hmm.
ikaw, meron ka pang ideas, Nick? Or questions for me?
Um, Meron akong, siguro i-share ko lang yung parang
Go ahead.
idea nung client ko.
Mm-mm.
Para mas maging, yung parang kasama yung guests na nasa Zoom sa mismong wedding is parang magkakaroon ng mini interviews. Kumbaga, yun na yung magiging speech nila.
Mm-mm.
So, i-record na lang namin and if ever pwede siyang ilagay din sa next day edit. So, pwede. At least merong participation from the Zoom guests.
Correct.
Pero ano yun, 'di ba, Glenn? Lahat naman 'yan recorded. Zoom, basta nag-start yung Zoom session, recorded lahat ng reactions ng guests and all.
It is.
Oo.
So, pag I'll just maximize my screen over here. Meron kasing isang part dito. Ayan, itong part na to, nag-hello sila dun sa guests nila for after the ceremony. We were still running into some audio trouble with this one, pero we figured it out already. That's why it's also important for us to run ano tawag dito, tests and also explore what would be possible and what would be not possible for this kind of arrangement. And I'd like to iterate or I'd like to point out and repeat that in a way although merong mas madaling way, merong ibang quality na way, Nick. I am sure you do things in a certain way. We also do things in a certain way because this is how we want our service to be. And alam namin yung quality. So for example, we can explore, pwede naman tayo mag-explore ng kunwari, bawasan yung cameras or iba yung magiging arrangement dun sa technicals.
Baka, oo, yung pwedeng stationary lang or hindi siya gumagalaw. As in, parang naka 180 degree lang kayo na, okay, may wide sa guests, may wide sa celebrant and the couple. That's
Correct.
it. So, well, depende pa rin talaga.
And with these things, we just make sure that the quality of the work will still be there, 'di ba?
Yes.
Ayan. Ted, thank you Thank you for indulging us with questions. Meron bang resistance sa pricing ng live stream as a production or you can easily convince the clients na it's a production that entails a bigger budget? I think it's more of how clients prioritize, 'di ba? If we're gonna do a bit of math, how much does it require our clients to bring in guests and feed them. So if you technically convert that to your budget to still bring them in but celebrate the wedding online, then it's still something that I'm sure they will prepare for. Diba? If it's something important for them, for Nick, for me, then we'll definitely place a little bit of money or a certain budget for it to happen. So the resistance comes from, of course, finding the right supplier for you as well. No. Yun. Oh, nasabi mo pala yung camera layout. Actually, ganun nga yung bala ko na dalawa sa likod for safety. And then, your videographers are actually the one shooting dito, dun sa
The
altar.
closer,
Sa close-up mismo. Which you can view with this video here. Okay. Hopefully, we answered that. Jam, thank you. Thank you for dropping by. Sabi niya, thanks for answering my question. Are there other questions that you have? Just let us know in the comments. Meron pa ba tayong pag-uusapan? Nick, you have before while we're waiting for other questions, you have parting words, did you? You have ideas that you want to share?
Pwede rin. Well, kasi ito na yung tinatawag nating coronavirus era. So, siguro as much as possible, expect na natin na medyo magtatagal to for our industry. So, well, it's very devastating sa couples and also for the suppliers. Pero, I think yung intimate weddings, it looks more appealing na sa ngayon. Kasi, may mga ideas na for low-key weddings or, kumbaga, yung guests nila, kung sino talaga yung nagmamatter.
Yun
Na
yung
makasama nyo on the day. Oo. Kasi yung iba, although may mga restrictions like yung travel limitations, yung mga out of town friends, yung relatives, syempre hindi sila makakapunta sa wedding nyo. So, kaya nandyan yung Zoom weddings natin, yung live stream. Sobrang iba kapag nakukuha yung talagang mga reactions on the day. Nakikita ng mga extended families or friends na hindi makakapunta sa weddings. Sobrang iba. So, I feel that this live streaming service is gonna be a super, kumbaga hype sa ngayon. Magiging na siya, kasama na talaga siya sa budget ng client. Sa new normal. Feeling ko. So, medyo
paghandaan natin. Paghandaan natin. Relate tayo.
Pero, ayun, siguro, if ever matapos tong lahat na to, lahat naman yung pinagdadasal natin matapos na tong pandemic, feeling
or
ko,
kung hindi man matapos, we can adapt, diba? To whatever.
We can adapt. Pero if ever matapos ng feeling ko, there's going to be a greater appreciation of for these moments. Kumbaga, pag natapos tong lahat,
totoo
parang ang free to breathe.
Sige.
Or wala na face shields.
Habol natin tong, there are 3 questions na pumasok. No? Number 1,
okay, go.
As part of the events industry, even before the pandemic, what must have specific gear or accessory you recommend we should invest on to move to online weddings? Ano ba? Gear.
Capture card.
Capture cards.
Number 1, capture card.
Baka mamatay yung setup ko kapag may nagalaw ako dito. But definitely capture cards. Good capture cards. Okay.
Yes.
If I'm gonna be stingy about it, anything below 5,000 pesos, questionable.
Yeah.
Okay. In terms of reliability. Tapos, and colors. Ano pa ba? And get the right HDMI cables. Kumuha kayo ng maayos na HDMI cables. Huwag yung hindi maayos na wala akong ibang term for it. And also,
ngayon, pati yung transmitters for if ever you'll do events. Yeah.
Yes. Na-excite ako for wireless transmitters. Eh. Parang, I talked about
Sana
it
mas
in another
magmura pa
episode.
siya. Oh.
Pwede naman. Pwedeng mas mura. Pero feeling ko, yun na yung yun na yung dulo niya. It's just a matter
Pinaka-base.
of quality. Quality.
Totoo.
Ayan. How about 360 video cam setup? I think yung, tawag dito? Yung challenge
Is it
dito with
the Hero? Or... Ay, hindi. Ano
Hero
ba yun?
Theta, wow, Theta Luma na yun. Yung yung, there's
Wow.
another brand, I forgot. Yes, 360 videos. For me, ikaw, Nick, what do you think? 360?
Never ko kasi maka-experience ng 360 during events eh. So, wala akong masyadong input dyan sa 360. Pero more on, mas mas leaning towards zoom lens ngayon eh. Kasi
Zoom
diba,
lens.
at least hindi ka basta-basta na aalis sa tayo mo if ever gusto mo ng close-ups or and all or wide zoom or kasi 'di ba ang hirap kasing masyado maging malikot during the shoot. So as much as possible go for zoom lenses, cameras with zoom lenses. Pero I think okay may
Pwede
future
explore.
360, pwede explore. Oo.
Pwede siya i-explore.
Wala nga lang ako pa masyadong input about kasi pag 360, yan ba yung ito yung super wide, no? Lahat parang ganun.
Tapos,
panoramic, something?
Pag ni-live mo siya, pwede mo iikot yung view.
Yung
So,
likod.
yung audience na, ayan, sabi ni Jonathan,
Pwede rin naman, oo.
hindi ko alam kung
Pero
paano
yung
sabihin
quality,
to. Who-cam and it's the 361. Or I'll answer it this way. Number 1, mabigat na nga mag-live stream. Number 2, mas mabigat mag-live stream ng 360. So, imagine how much data it will require for you to stream 360 video. But you can record, definitely, but personally, I'll find it a bit intrusive if you place the camera between the celebrant and also the couple. Kasi baka mamaya nakaharang siya doon, di ba? Yung ideal kasi nun is nasa gitna talaga siya. But if you leave it there, syempre yung pare, magbe-bless ng rings, ano pa ba? Yung shot ng videographer, baka mamaya hindi makuha yung paghahawak ng kamay, paglalagay ng ring, di ba? Yung mga ganong considerations.
Siguro it's safe for a cam as a stationary device. Kumbaga parang andun lang siya the whole time for para may sure just in case na may sure na shot, may safety shot. Oo. Kasi as in lahat kuha niya eh. Hindi ko lang sure yung quality. Siguro may 1080p or 4K. Laki
kaso
nito
maliliit
if
yung
4K,
sensor.
no?
Maliliit yung sensor kasi niya. So I think that's a challenge there. Okay.
So siguro parang feeling ko medyo may warp ng konti sa image.
Correct. Okay.
Pero,
Bob Barroso, sorry. Can you please give us some thoughts of challenging coverage during this pandemic? What are the safety procedure to be done during your coverage? At its core,
so kami,
go ahead.
Score. Ayan, at its core, sa film hat, ayan, as always, yung PPEs like yung face mask and face shield.
Sumobrang takot.
Face mask and face shields. So, nasa sa inyo na if ever you're going to use PPEs or yung protective
gear.
Ano yan?
Personal protective
personal protective equipment. Oo. And then, social distancing. Yan. Always practice social distancing. Ano pa ba? Yung isa
Tsaka
is...
alcohol. Wash your hands often.
Alcohol. Huwag kayo masyadong hahawak kung saan-saan.
Tsaka sa mata
yan,
niyo.
Isa yan.
Mata.
Oo, sa mata.
Yes.
And cleaning before and after the shoot. Or we have this UV room downstairs. After ng shoot, ilalagay namin lahat ng gamit doon and ipapa-UV namin siya for an hour. I'm not sure if okay yung
masisira yung sensor. Doon ako pupunta.
Talaga ba?
Masisira yung sensor.
Although, Sige, usually 30 minutes to an hour.
Binawasan
Binabaan
bigla
bigla.
eh, no? Sige, tingnan
Pero,
natin.
yun. And then after nun, papasingawin lang namin and then, although hindi naman bukas yung sensor. Ano lang, punas na lang after and then lagay ulit sa dry cabinet. Yun.
Tapos wag kayo lalapit sa
Also,
clients.
oo,
Parang
yun.
safety
Social
niya.
distancing natin.
Mm,
Safety, oo. And
safety
also yung
talaga.
duration of shoot. Siguro, medyo nagbago na rin yun. Before, di ba, yung mga videographers, photographers natin nasa preparation na 5 to 6 hours or 4 hours before the wedding. Ngayon, sobrang limited na. So, minsan 3 hours na lang or 2 hours before the ceremony. Then the ceremony is, let's say, 45 minutes. Max na yung 1 hour.
Mm.
And then, photo shoot if ever willing sila mag-photo shoot. And then, minsan may walang reception or minsan quick lunch lang. Usually, yun din yung isa pang napansin ko ngayon. Almost all na nang nag-push through this year. Yung wedding nila is 10 a.m. or 11 a.m.
Sarap.
Wala na masyado
Tapos
yung
kagad.
paggabi. I mean, yung ceremony nila.
Correct.
Oo, para lunchtime, tapos na. Pagkakain, tapos na. Yun.
Ano nga ba yung
Duration ng
idadagdag ko
shoot
dito?
para less exposure. Oo. Pinag-uusapan yan, mga guys. Pag-usapan nyo kung ilang oras yung shoot nyo. Oo. Well, ano rin naman sa studio. Depende sa studio kung ilang hours yung ano nyo.
Arrangement niyo.
Kaya yung arrangement nyo with the couple.
Okay. Ted, sorry. Thank you
Sige,
again
go.
for dropping by, Jonathan Garcia and Ted Claudio. PTZ cameras will be a good investment. You know, PTZ cameras are, imagine yung SLR, tapos meron siyang pan, tilt, tsaka zoom. Automatic na siya. PTZ cameras are a good investment, but it's pretty difficult to find them locally na hindi security cam level. Yung production PTZ cameras. I've been looking into it as well, but the good ones are a bit out of reach, at least from my end. A bit out of reach budget-wise. Kasi para kang Sony A7S2. 2 hindi 3. So A7, no, more pala. Parang A7S3. Yung presyo. Pero, fix na yon. Makakontrol mo na siya remote, which is also a good idea. Bob, no, that's not a silly question. Sabi niya, sorry to ask a silly question. No, it's not. It's an important question, and I guess because of what's been happening, it's important for us to be reminded of this all over and over. No, so
Yes.
baka mamaya mag-lapse tayo, mamaya hindi tayo naligo pag uwi natin dahil feeling natin
Yun pala, no?
wala nangyari.
Guys, kailangan maligo after the wedding. Hindi lang yung gamit.
Ay,
Nakalimutan maligo
Yung-
and all.
yung personal safety nalimutan na bigla.
Personal safety, yeah.
Ayan. So, again, from our end, objectives precede technology. And as much as possible, we preserve the experience, at least for wedding live streams. No? We preserve the experience of being there with the couple. Last question. Do you do self-quarantine after shooting an event in person? Or do they require you to present media ID or quarantine pass to cover an event? Nick, experience.
Based on our experiences dun sa mga previous, kasi wala pa namang humingi sa amin ng media ID or quarantine pass para to cover the event. And yes, we do self-quarantine after shooting an event kasi mahirap. Although, dito kasi sa bahay, kami lang din yung nakatira. So, pero, ayan, self-quarantine after shooting an event, siguro 7 to 10 days, okay na siguro yun. Or minsan hanggang 14. Although, wala rin namang shoot after. So, nandito pa rin kami hanggang...
Forced
siguro kung
quarantine
lalabas na lang
pala.
or mag-grocery and all. Oo. After ano na lang. And then, ayun, siguro ngayon, kailangan yun, since MECQ, kung nasa taga Manila kayo, and lalabas kayo outside Manila, kailangan nyo
Mm.
ng travel pass, lalo kung dadaan kayo sa SLEX. Kasi dito sa South, medyo mahigpit sila. Kailangan nyo ng travel pass. Baka
Ayan.
magka-problema kayo on the day. So, humingi na kayo sa mga barangay nyo ng travel pass.
And also talk to your friendly friends na doctors or medical practitioners. They will give you either peace of mind, number one, or more things to think about. But definitely, syempre, dun tayo sa number one, peace of mind. Always go for for the safety aspect. If you can space out your shoots, 'di ba? Na 7 days apart and minimize the number of people that you interact with or places that you go to, then that will be at least one way of being safe as well. Ayan. Thank you, Jam. Thank you.
Thank
Big
you,
help.
Sam.
More power to both of you for your film hat and Upstream Media. Ayan. And
Thank
that's
you.
it. Sige, let's wrap
Uy,
this up.
naka-ano na pala, no?
1 hour na.
Naka 1 hour and 10
15.
minutes pa.
10
15
minutes na siya. Okay. That's it for this special episode of Uptakes. Again, we thank Niq for joining us for this special episode of Uptakes.
you.
Don't forget to follow the Film Hat on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. YouTube na.
Yeah.
Meron? LinkedIn.
Yes.
Meron din mang LinkedIn. wala pa.
Wala
But
pa.
definitely, the Film Hat on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. Thank you all for joining and hanging out with us, and
Thank
also
you.
for all your questions. Hopefully, this gave you some ideas on how to bring and celebrate wedding ceremonies or receptions online.
Yes.
Okay. So, I'll just wrap this up. Tune in again this Wednesday for another episode of Uptakes as we bring you more ideas, concepts, and news in and around live streaming. Again, my name is Glenn Lopez of Upstream Media PH, and see you in the next live stream. Bye, guys.